So I am going to sway the conversation for part two here is this. Recently, as you know, I had Knock Measy on my channel. Subsequent videos I've had, subsequent videos that I've had, he has commented and he talks about how basically the countries on our Kebulon could actually keep the West at bay. And one of those is when he talks about having a strong military force. So sure. So in this segment, yes, we're going to speak in hypotheticals, just because you are a person that has military experience and you experience that with your former spouse. When you talk about the military using its force to protect its own assets and their systems, would you agree that in order to keep the West at bay, to keep a lot of the things that are actually happening on the continent away, is for these nations to arm up, have a stronger military presence? Would you agree?
I do agree. Absolutely.
So when you take that, then typically the West sees that as a form of terrorism, in that if I see that nation Sherrie wants to have a vast nuclear arsenal, I feels like that she is going to do something to me, even though it's only to protect your assets. Why is that?
Plain and simple, we're bullies. We're a nation of bullies. That's how we've gotten everything that we have, from being bullies. That's it. That's all. We don't want anyone to stand up against us. We're afraid of anybody who has, a fire, the weapons or whatever to match ours. We're bullies.
When South Africa ended apartheid, that was one of the first things that happened, was a chance to buy up the nuclear power, because they felt that with people that look like you and I, they would use that against the West. So it's just like, okay, well, even though the people who were in power there were oppressing the people, it's okay for you to use that, because, they were the same skin folk, if you will. But the minute that people that look like you and I had it, we became a threat, even though we had never taken a shot across the bow.
Exactly. But it's the same thing with gun laws in America. They don't want brothers to be armed. Do you know what I mean? Remember the issue in Dallas? I don't remember if a brother got shot or if it was, I don't remember what it was, but they were protesting and the brother had the assault weapon.
Yes, in the garage. In the garage.
No, not the one in the garage. He was on the street with it. I think that was after the brother came from the Midwest and killed the police officers. Whatever they were protesting, the brother had a weapon and it was registered. He was legally carrying, but they sent out all these pictures of him across the media saying that he was a potential terrorist or something like that. I gotta find the article and send it to you. But they put this brother's face out there like he was the one who shot the police, killed the police or whatever it was, putting his life in danger, and he was carrying his weapon legally. That does something to the psyche of a lot of people when they see that happen. Oh, I don't want to get a gun now. I don't want to protect myself because it's too much of a headache. You know what I'm saying? Like they
so part of the brainwashing is what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And these governments, they do it on a big level. They do it on a lower level. So it's like they don't want us to arm ourselves in any way possible. They want us to be dependent on them.
What I also find interesting, since you said that, well, you tell us that we have a right to bear arms, and then the minute that we create a militia, such as the ones you all have created, we've become a threat. What is the issue with Black men having the equal power to that of a white man? What is that about? I'm not really clear about that.
Neither am I, because we don't function like that. It's control, though. It has to be. It has to be control. It has to be a matter of control, and that's it. It's really that simple. I don't think it's anything big and complicated. They have the need to be in control, so they control us any way that they can. So now I'm gonna, even the fact that they send brothers to jail for things that white men get sent, probation for. So now he's a felon and he can't even, own a weapon at all. So that's one way. And then, the hype with the brother with, the assault weapon or whatever that he legally was carrying, that news went nationwide. And I'm sure a lot of brothers got scared and forget it. I'm not going to carry. Like they want to control every aspect of our lives and keep us subservient to them.
So, well, then I would say, true. There per se may not be outside of control, but if you look at our history and all of the kingdoms that melanated people dominated, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,000 years ago. Sure, there's always been times where you had different tribes that were having fighting and sort of let's say a ruling type of class, if you will.
Right.
But it was never in effect that we were going to just take everyone's weapons away from them. I think the West, because of how she came into power, you continue to keep that because you don't want anyone else to be as equal as we said earlier. But at the same time, if we also keep in our minds to say the only way that we can have true strength is to have a strong military, it seems like we're never going to be able to get that if the West is continuing that anyone that has the same power that they have is considered an enemy. I'll give you an example. Look at the United States relationship with Russia. Russia and us, we're equally matched. Now, I've heard some of my military friends say, no, we all meaning us civilians think that Russia has equal firepower per se, but know that the United States has stuff that is not even on paper,
right? So
that they don't let their enemies know what they have. I'm not even. That could be true because I don't have any military intel into that. That could likely be true. But look how Russia is a pariah with the West.
Exactly. But doesn't it stand to reason that if we have weapons that aren't even on paper or whatever, that other nations have weapons that aren't on paper as well?
Very likely, especially Russia.
Exactly. I think the American military is just a product of America. Like a lot of it is all hype. A lot of it is hype. It's marketing, just like America. It's a whole bunch of hype.
Well, when you think about our military too, when we go and we talk about, us as melanated people joining, one of the contentions too that I'm going back to that first segment is that when you are an employee of the Fed and they say you have to take vaccines, inoculations, do you remember the anthrax stuff that was going on? Do you remember all that? People were getting mailed anthrax and they were not able to get away from taking whatever items they had in their arsenal because they wanted to protect their warfighter. Now, as we fast forward to the system that we're in with the 2020 panorama, how are we supposed to get ourselves together in that? So I say this, we have got to come up with a better way, because they are going to use a lot of these soldiers as experiments and be the first ones to accept and to try all of these vaccines. Yes, that is fine. You're back. You're back here. It's clear. Yeah. My question to you, that's okay. My question to you was, as I just kept basically going on. My question to you was going to be, since people are in the military, the war fighter has to take whatever the government says for them to take, i.e. vaccines for the 2020 panorama. So they can't get away from that, even if it's not time for their enlistment to end. How can a military person get away from that? They can't.
You cannot get away from it.
See,
you can't get away from it. But you know what? I know when I was in the military, I am convinced that I took medicine or, something that I wasn't aware of. And I think that happens across the board through inoculations or vitamins or whatever. Like, I think they give us a lot of stuff that we're not aware of. Hence why so many of us who are not even wartime veterans still have PTSD, service connected. So I think there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the military that people who are serving in the military are not even aware of it. If they give you something and say, we need to take this because of X, Y, and Z, they may not say this is a vaccine against whatever. They may tell you you need to take this because you're being deployed to wherever, and you're going to take it.
Wow.
You have to get a vaccine because of,
Is there ever a time the warfighter can decline any vaccinations? Ever?
No, not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of.
I don't know what to say. So it's actually true. Like my dad used to say, you are the property of the United States government at all costs. Absolutely. Until you say you're done.
It's true. I knew someone who, when I was in Florida, who got in trouble because she got sunburned. You understand? She is the property of, I'm not lying to you. She is the property of the United States Navy. And she went to the beach and she got sunburnt so bad that she had whatever degree burns or whatever happened to her. And she was sick for a couple of days. Do you think the military cared? Nobody told you to go to the beach and fall asleep on the beach.
I'm done. I'm done. Wow. I've heard guys say that when they had gotten LASIK that they got in trouble because they said that the government told them they were not authorized to alter their eyes. Now, I've heard guys tell me this, and I'm, of course, in shock, thinking to myself, are they crazy?
Yeah, I believe that. Like, they think they own you. And when I tell that story about my former friend all the time, she's like a Nordic, no melanin chick, and she fell asleep on the beach and was in trouble, like seriously, because what happened was we had finished school in Florida and we had orders to go on leave and whatever, and go to your next duty station, whatever she was supposed to be doing. She wasn't able to do it because she was sick from getting sunburned. Yes.
I'm verklempt at this point. Verklempt.
Right?
Well, yeah, I don't know what to say. But as I said, I had some male friends tell me because they've had LASIK done and that, and one of the guys was telling me about that, and I'm just like, seemed like to me they want you to have better vision. It wasn't even, but he was saying it wasn't even about that. It was about nobody authorized you to go and alter your girl. I was through.
It's true. Yeah.
Well, Sherrie, I want to thank you today for joining me just for this candid conversation, which is actually unique from what I normally talk about on this channel. But I think it'll give some people some insight, just about a little bit about military background as well, and just the current climate. What's happening in the West as well. So I want to thank you for joining me, and I look forward to having you on again. However, let's have a quick but before we end, a quick update to your time in Tanzania. Give us a brief about that,
Okay.
please.
What do you want to know? I'm still here. My dental work is still not complete. Um, my stuff is in queue in Hong Kong because where the lab is that my dentist uses. And I'm just here relaxing, enjoying this downtime. Uh, and that's it. I mean, Dar es Salaam is what it is. It's beautiful. The people are super friendly. Um, it's a dope city. It's a dope country. I'm having a good time. I'm happy. I don't miss New York at all. I'll say that. I
Hey, hey,
don't
hey,
miss the
hey, hey.
U.S. at all.
Exactly. I understand that. So
Yeah.
it's still as exciting to you as the first day you got there is what I want to ask.
It is. It is. It is very exciting. And when people are like, "Oh, I miss this in America, and I miss this kind of food." I had one of those moments today, but it wasn't necessarily American. I was like, "Oh, I wish I had some curry goat. I mean, not curry goat. I don't eat that. Some curry crab and some callaloo and dumplings."
Mm.
From Trinidad. I was like, "Oh, I want some Trini food today," but that's like the only time I've ever had a little thought about, oh man, if I was in Brooklyn, I could run up on Church Avenue and. Mm-mm. But
And get your
that's it.
fix.
It was fleeting. I was like, I'll find something else to eat. I'm good. I cool.
Okay, okay. Well, that's but that's interesting to know. I mean, we all will find ourselves, no matter where we are actually going to be on the continent, missing a
Hmm.
few comforts of home. Now, I totally agree to that. It's just all about keeping
Hmm.
things in perspective because, as you know, over time, that is going to wane. Now, whenever you, let's say, if you actually fly back to the U.S., I'm sure you will get your fix, and you'll be like, oh, okay, I got my fix, and
It's
it
time
may
to
be
go.
right, and it may not even be all that you thought it would be because you hadn't had it for so long. Just
Hmm.
something to think
Now
about.
it'll be all that you can't miss with curry crab. Trust me. Not the place I go to. You can't mess up.
That is funny. That is funny. Hey, that may be a business opportunity for you. I mean, I'm just saying, just saying,
Me?
just
Nah.
saying.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Okay, well, thank you
Mm-mm.
again for joining me,
All right.
and I look
Thank
forward
you
to
for
having you
having me.
back
Love it.
again soon.
All right. Later.